Here we are. Apologies for my redness. I've just come back from a run, hence my hair being wet. So, yeah, I'm gonna see if Sam is here. Sammy B, where you at? There he is. Hi. Waiting for Sam.
Hello?
Oh my God, your hair.
I look like I'm upside down. I'm just plugging in a charger.
Where are you?
Do excuse me. I was just plugging in my charger.
How are you?
I'm alright. I'm pretty good. I was thinking about having a little nap, but then I powered through it and I've just made myself a coffee.
Oh,
A milky cup.
I'm very red. I was just apologising to everyone for being so red because I've just come back from a run.
It was just really
angry. Do I look red? I feel like I look red.
You know what? Yelling into my pillow.
I'm fine with it. You
look great. You look wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do you know what date? Does anyone know what date it is today? I've completely forgotten the date.
Is it
Are we in August? Are we in August yet?
I think we're 7th.
7th of May. Here we go. I've got a fold on the
sounds about right.
Okay, right. So it's lovely to be back, isn't it?
It is good actually. It's really nice.
It feels nice to be back. Thank you very much. I'm going to read from the book. I've seen a few people have actually gone and bought this book, which is amazing. So nice. What a lovely thing. Right, 7th of May. There is no cardinal who does not aspire to the papacy. When we think of it, there is something truly remarkable in the fact that practically all human beings want to be better than they are. What a hopeful reading of the human race. 4 billion people all eager to improve themselves. For many of the humans on Earth, self-improvement has an economic basis, to be able to eat 2 or 3 times each day, perhaps rather than once. We are fortunate to be able to understand improvement in a moral and spiritual sense. Increased income or possessions cannot truly augment us. Our real growth is inward. However, we understand our spiritual selves. Apologies, I'll read that again. I got the intonation wrong. However we understand our spiritual selves, most of us agree on how to foster them through peace, silence, and beauty, in meditation, and in what some of us call prayer. Just as every bud aspires to be a flower, and as the flower holds the secret of the fruit, so shall we unfold the beauty of our spirits. If we nourish the spirit, we can grow to be our better selves. If we allow nothing to hamper its growth, our spirit will unfold. I shall set my eyes on the clear path towards my spiritual unfolding. Beautiful.
Very good. It had me at the beginning with every cardinal aspires to the papacy.
Why, do you aspire to be the Pope?
No, I wasn't sure where we were going with this one.
What were you afraid?
I don't know. But it's a good one. No, like it's quite a like kind of general one for that book. I find actually it's quite meta. It kind of talks about the process of or the purpose of the book itself, I guess, in some ways. Or I guess why you're looking. It's kind of just it's affirming that kind of. I think the journey is important.
Yeah, the journey is the most important thing, and I think like particularly in these times. I mean, I know that a lot of countries now have sort of decreased the severity of the lockdown status, and in that sort of relative normality is returning to a daily existence, which is wonderful. But for those of us, still unsure, and those of us still, with a shelter-in-place order and all of those kind of things, and even if you're not in a shelter-in-place order, I think the importance of going on a real journey to freedom and to happiness is the most important thing. I think, you know, it speaks in that section about basically material possession and how that won't fulfill you unless you sort of are spiritually aware. And I think that that's so important. You know, we've built a society that's, I talk about this so often, it's my shit, you know, but like, we've built a society that caters for itself. You know, it caters for greed and primal like desire and the sort of feeding of fear of other people. You need this car, you need this t-shirt, nobody's immune to it. Look, I've worn a hat, but you know, these are things that we've created and we've neglected for a long period, for a long time now, at least for the last like maybe sort of 100 years, is we've neglected the truth of like the fact that we're all feeling emotional, spiritual beings. And like, that's the most important thing. And we've even created concepts to kind of, you know, to feed those parts of us, but in a very small way. You know, like you go and watch a movie about romance, and that little part of you, that beautiful love part of you is just, it's given a little bit of flame, but then you have to go back out into the outside world and you have to go and buy your huge bucket of popcorn. Like, it's just bullshit. Like, it's fucking bullshit. Because that little fire that you may feel when you're watching that romantic movie is there all the time, and again can be accessed all the time. And we need to bring that conversation to the forefront, I think, of our society, and particularly moving forward. Just like, I don't know, I'm just kind of off on one now, but I think for me, like during this process and during this period of lockdown, I've really like dived inwards. Like it's a journey. Life is a journey. Life is an absolute journey. There's been days during this lockdown where it's been absolutely beautiful, where I've had like the most inspiring days, and I've sat and I felt the rush of the wind through my hair, and I'm at one with nature, and you know, and I'm at one with the world. And there have been days where I feel like absolute shit, like where I feel really, really crap. But the thing is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to constantly like keep myself going through a routine that I have of self-care and of mindfulness and of practice that I know for me is really important. You know, I have to every day, you know, try and have something that grounds me a little bit more, whether it be meditation, yoga, a breathing exercise, you know, sound healing, whatever it may be. I need that in my life, and that's how I try and start my day. You know, these are the readings that we do as well. And I try and start my day with things like that, or just at least have those in my day. And the more that I do them, and the more like I dive into the practices of them, particularly because they're not just like little things. You know, these are like ancient practices that have been around since like the sort of beginning of time. You know, like you know, particularly like yogic practices that have been around for centuries. You know. And have like a deep grounding in reality, and like a, you know, and as a practice. And the more I dive into those things, the sort of more I learn about myself, and the more free I kind of become. This idea of freedom, that we need freedom of movement to be completely free. I'm sure there is something to be said for that, but also at the same time, I think that there is a freedom that one can create within oneself, outside of just idly going from A to B and consuming, you know.
Yeah. I think one thing that you said that was like really rang home with me was like these kind of extremes that you go through. It was something that you said earlier on. It's like, you know, where you have those days where it's like you feel like you can do anything, and you've got all this, you know, we're privileged enough to be able to have all this time, I guess, and have these spaces to be able to do things in. And then there's other days where you just feel like you can't do anything, and it's like, I'm useless, everything's rubbish, like I can't put the right pairs of socks on. I mean, it's like ridiculous shit, but it's like these extremes of from one to the other is really prevalent. And because I guess like this structure, like the normal days just doesn't exist anymore. And there's no, like, I don't know, all the timelines and all the goals keep moving. So yeah, it becomes difficult, I think, to ground yourself. And I think that's, you know, as you were saying, that's the really important thing, is those kind of grounding things.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well as it's like, it's okay to recognize that, like, you're not going to have a good day. That's life. Like, life doesn't always go the way that you like it to go. And when we try and like manipulate life into a position, or manipulate other people, or control life into a position where we're sort of comfortable all the time, then life becomes incredibly boring. Like, and also becomes incredibly taxing, like spiritually and emotionally. Like just trying to keep things on an even keel all the time is like, oh, it's like, you can't do that. Life does not work like that. I've lived long enough now to know that it doesn't, you know. And it certainly didn't when anyone, you or I, was a child. I think that's also something that we learn as we grow older, is like, we become so like concerned with life that we're like, do you know what, I'm just gonna like try and manage this here, and then everything will be okay and I'm placid. But then if you think back when you were a kid, and you know, like, you were like, I want this, and your parents were like, you can't have that. You'd be like, bro, I don't fucking know, I want that. And they go, no, you can't have that. Well, you can't have that. And there's like, and I know that's a very like sort of minimal example of life not going your way, but as you grow, life doesn't always go your way, and that's okay. Like, that's totally fine, as long as you have a like, and like you say, as long as you have like a deep understanding, or like at least a somewhat of an understanding or a grounding of yourself, or know how you're feeling on the inside, then you're able to move through it, and you're able to kind of to keep going, I think, a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So that's important. I learned this amazing breathing technique, and I'm sure there's probably people on this live stream who do yoga and stuff like that, but it's called breath of fire. So you have to hold your arms up like this. Come on, do it with me.
Okay, what are we doing here?
Do it with me. Do it like this. Okay, and you've got to close your eyes.
I feel like I've been duped into this. Okay.
And then you got to breathe out. You got to breathe out through your nose, right? But as you breathe out through your nose, quite a sharp breath like that, you got to, your belly button is, pull your belly button backwards.
Backwards?
Yeah, towards your back, your navel backwards. And what that is amazing. It's amazing.
You just make me look like a twat. Is that the issue?
Mate, I did it with you. We did it together. It's fine.
Yeah.
And what that's meant to do is that's meant to sort of like dismantle the ego. Everyone's laughing.
Is it?
That's meant to dismantle the ego. And I.
What's the principle? What's the principles behind it?
Well, okay, so you're meant to do it for a long period of time. I don't know why I'm doing it again. I'm holding.
How long? How long are we talking?
You're meant to do it for about 2 minutes per.
How many? And then like how long in between each breath? Yeah.
So you do one of those, and then you can do that. In from the left, out from the right. You don't have to do breath of fire with that, but then you can do various different poses with breath of fire. So breath of fire is that, and you can do as many poses as you like with the breath of fire. I'm not a yoga instructor. I've just started learning it, but I'm telling you something, is that it's fucking amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing because your brain tells you, your brain starts going, I can't hold my arms like this. I can't like do my belly like this. I can't do my nose like this. But you keep doing it, and you dismantle the ego, just completely dismantle it. You're like, yes, I can. Look at me going now. I wonder how many people are at home doing it.
I'm at the shop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you read about that?
I've been doing it in classes. I've been doing it in classes. So Yeah. I do
Great.
Kundalini yoga.
So good.
Someone's just written whatever works. Pretty sure an acting class at one point. Yeah, you probably did. You probably did. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway.
No, I love it. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
How many people are in the
good.
class?
I don't know. I don't know how many people. You can't see the other.
You
can
can't
just
see
the
them.
instructor.
I
Yeah,
really
you can
like
just see
that though. I really like the idea of having like loads of people doing it together.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's really lovely. There's something really nice
Remember,
about it.
belly button backwards. Anyway.
Someone just said, I just tried it.
What should we talk about next now we're here?
Someone just said, I just tried it and blew snot on my phone. And probably that's part of it.
That's good. Yeah, you're expelling the negativity.
That's your ego just falling out of your nose. Yeah.
Oh dear. I've got a little book of mindfulness here. If we can do that, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything you do from the heart. There you go. Beautiful. Little nuggets of information.
How are your plants doing, by the way? I know we spoke about this last time,
my plants are doing amazing. My plants are doing amazing. Thank you so much for asking. They're doing really, really well. Yeah. I find such like gratitude and beauty in like just having them there. You know, that's another thing I've been practicing recently. I feel like I just come on here and talk about these sort of mental practices I've been trying, but you know, maybe it'll help someone, maybe it won't. I've been trying to find like gratitude in like the simplest things recently, like the Buddhists. I think I mentioned this before, but like Buddhist monks, when they drink a glass of water, they say, I see the entire world in this glass of water. Like I see the river, I see the streams, I see the sea, I see the world. And I've just been trying to do little things like that recently. So watering my plants is a beauty. I talk to my plants most morning, just ask them how they are. We're about, I don't know how many, we're probably about 3 foot high now, probably about 1 meter high, maybe a bit higher. So yeah, I love having them. I really, really do. And you know, maybe day all being well, I'll have a lovely big vegetable garden and I'll be able to grow lots of nice veg. Be lovely.
Lots of chatting to them in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Just go around and like have a nice moment with the plants and connect with nature. How are your plants doing?
Mine are okay at the moment. We bought some daisies from the garden centre and they are not happy. They have not dealt with the move well.
Oh dear.
And they need repotting stat. So that's the kind of recent drama. There was a kumquat tree that was just here that's given up. Yeah, that was a bit sad. It was nice for a while and it would just like drop them off every kind of now and then. I'd be working, I'd hear this noise and have like be like, what's going on? And there'll just be like a little fruit rolling across the floor and it was really enjoyable.
Did you eat the fruit?
No, we never did. I don't know if you could. But we've also just got a tomato plant that's a baby and that needs a lot of loving. Who's on the edge of making it. We're not sure yet. Hopefully she deals with the move well. I'm looking at her now. Sorry, I'm just peering at her out the window.
I'm sure she looks gorgeous.
Well, she's a bit fragile, and it's like she gets half an hour in the sun and then the wind a day, and then we take her down, and that's it. And then she's in shelter for the rest of the day.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're doing it's a mixed bag over here in plant world. Some happy, some not so happy.
Hey, listen, Sam.
Yeah.
I want to tell the people about next weekend. Do you think I can do that?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. We've got 751 people here. We might as well just tell them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, by the way, for your plant question, and thank you for telling us about yours too. I really, really enjoyed it.
It's all right. It's nice.
Okay, so should we tell people what we're doing next weekend?
You go for it.
Okay. So next weekend, we counterfeit. I don't know who I'm talking to here. I'm talking to you, Sam. Am I talking to everybody? I'm just going to pretend like I'm just going to talk. So next weekend, we counterfeit are organizing a kind of weekend extravaganza of, I suppose, like a sort of mini online kind of counterfeit festival thing of various different things that we're going to be doing. So we're going to be playing music. We're going to be Roland's doing a cooking show. Sam and Jimmy are doing a club night. Tristan's hosting a quiz. I'll be doing a reading. And there'll be other bits of content. Like we just got a video through today from behind the scenes for It Gets Better. The music video that we shot comes together, and it's really, really beautiful, and it's amazing. So it's really cute, isn't it? It's beautiful.
I was like, oh God, it took me like right back to it. It was so nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a lovely thing to see.
Yeah,
it was gorgeous. So we're going to start that on Friday, I think, of next week, all being well. It's going to be hosted in one place. Now, this is the kind of boring bit. The stuff that's going to appear is going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. We're doing it with you guys in mind, and we're doing it for you guys. But it's all going to exist on one web page where you can go to, and you'll be able to see all the things as they happen, whether they be live or pre-recorded. So we'll shoot that link out sometime later next week. Also, we're going to have a few items of merchandise, and we're also going to have a really, really special piece of merchandise, which is a T-shirt that we've made well, I say we've made it. An amazing designer friend that we work with called Nina has designed it, and it's in conjunction with CALM, the Campaign Against Living Miserably. For those of you who have been following the band for some time, you'll know that we have been, and I've been supporting that charity since 2015, summer of 2015. And we felt it was just right for us to do something with those guys. I did something for them a couple of weeks back when they did like a Calm Night lock-in, but we wanted to help raise some money. So we've designed a T-shirt with our friend Nina for Calm, and 50% of all the proceeds of that T-shirt go directly to Calm. And anything that is bought on the online store over that weekend, a percentage of that will also be going to CALM. And we will also be putting a donation link on the webpage where people can go and give money as freely as they like, whether it be 10p to £10,000, whatever you feel like giving is totally okay. I just think that during these times, obviously mental health is something that for me is a huge deal. There's no other way to say it. My vocabulary is obviously pretty poor this morning. But during these times of lockdown where people are in isolation, and having been through my own struggles myself, I know that isolation is really, really, really very, very difficult for those who suffer with mental health issues. And one of the reasons that I talk about things like yoga and meditation and mindfulness and gratitude and all those kind of things are those are the things that have helped me throughout my time and when I am in need. And Calm is there for those people in the United Kingdom who need the help, who need to be able to call. And they have seen numbers, and we have seen it globally, we've seen numbers of people calling in asking for help rising during this time. So it is really, really important that we help charities like this out. Whilst I am incredibly grateful to all the frontline workers out there, nurses, doctors, everybody, this is a charity that for me is incredibly close to my heart. So that is the reason that we've chosen Calm. So that'll be next weekend. Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. Tried to get Roland to do a dance-a-thon for 2 hours. He wasn't having it. So he's doing a cooking show. Sam, I've just spoken for like 20 minutes.
Don't give it all away.
No.
The club night will be wild. The club night will be wild. That's all I can say. Jimmy and I will do all sorts of things. Tristan's quiz is probably going to be impossible.
Yeah.
From the sounds of it. So we'll see about that. But hey, and I think you get a prize. There are prizes as well. It's not just a kind of quiz in the dark, as it were. There are actual prizes from Tristan's quiz. So if that doesn't get you, you know. Yeah. Yeah, don't bother. Hey?
Don't bother. Don't bother. Yeah, so that's next weekend. We are so excited about that. We really, really are super excited about that. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, really, really cool. And we'll put all the details up online as we go along next week, and have little teasers.
Yeah, there will be like schedules and everything when things are going up.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sick. Should I open up some questions? Should we take some questions from
Let's take some questions, yeah.
Questions from the question box. I love this. I really, by the way, I'm so grateful for everybody that's here. It's really nice.
That's very sweet. What people say. Are you going in the question box?
I'm in the question box. Has Jamie stopped acting? No. No.
No.
I've stopped doing everything for the minute.
I've just stopped.
Everything stopped. Here we go. What would you do if you only had? Oh my gosh. How do you deal? This is quite nice. I've got two here that I like actually.
Okay.
We'll do this one first, and then I'll go back to the next one. Let's start with this.
Let's go down the memory lane. Both of you share some story of brotherly stunts or tricks from younger years. God damn it. There are a lot. There's one that comes to mind for me.
Is it terrible? Is it traumatic?
It involves a red toy bus. But
it's such a traumatic memory. I'm triggered.
I don't know. It was one of those things where just like, I mean, I might as well tell it. There was I can't remember how old I was. I must have been young. I must have been like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is the way that I remember it. You may remember it very differently. For me, there was a blue slide at our house, and like a little kid's one, and the stars aligned, and Jamie decided he was going to launch a very small red double-decker bus made out of metal up the slide, simultaneously at the same point that I decided that I'd like to go down the slide front ways. And physics dictated that the bus ended up in the middle of my forehead. Not intentional. I'm going to put that out there.
No, not intentional. Not intentional. And to this day, because it's brought up so often, I will forever be living in the guilt and the shame. Whilst I understand that there is a guilt and a shame in that, I will forever be living in it. I am sorry. Let me make a public apology to you here on Instagram.
The press statement, yeah.
Dear Sam, I'm really sorry for mindlessly throwing the red toy bus up the slide and it striking you on the forehead. Although we may have been young, I carry the weight of that with me to this day. So I'm deeply apologetic, and it shan't happen again.
I forget. You are forgiven. I do not.
Wow,
it does not keep me up at night. I was halfway in between saying that and I will never forgive you for that. But I may forget, but I will not forgive. No, 100%. Water under the bridge.
I'm glad we got through that. It has been a good 24 years, so I'm glad that we managed to
But that being said, there was another incident on a beach where someone else launched something into my head, and you were so on my side about it that was penance. That was it, you know.
Yeah. It's been a rough old life for you, hasn't it?
My head, me and my head injuries. I've had many, many head injuries. It's the thing I've broken most in my body. Oh, no, I know so many more. But they're all your things. They're all things where I've seen you just like launch yourself off something.
Oh, I've broken so many bones. I've broken so many bones. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've broken both wrists. I've broken kneecap. I've broken my ankle, my collarbone, fingers. It's not good. It's not good.
I remember seeing you. You decided it'd be a good idea to attach a snowboard to yourself on a trampoline.
Yeah.
And then this is the first time I ever saw you break a bone. And you were bouncing on the trampoline on the board. So say that's your legs, that's the board on the trampoline.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to jump off the side of it. And the front of the board got caught on the plastic rim of the trampoline. And so you catapulted yourself off the trampoline with more force than you would have just if you jumped off, straight onto your wrists.
Yeah, painful just to even think about it.
Clean break.
Don't try that at home, kids.
Do not
try that at home.
Do not.
Yeah, breaks are always peak. I've broken so many bones in my body now. I really know when something's broken instantly. I just know the feeling. It's that dull. It's like a pop, and then it's like a dull ache, and you're just like, fuck's sake. Fucking hell, again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I was watching recently?
I knew you were going to bring this up. You go for it. You do it.
What?
I think we had this conversation the other day because you went through all the tapes. No, I'm going to let you go for it. You just go.
Oh, well, there's a really nice video of Sam and I down by a river, and actually, there's a video of you by a swimming pool, and you just get completely bollock naked.
I was very young at the time. Okay, it wasn't like
one of the funniest things, and you're so proud. You're just so proud. You don't care. You're there.
This wasn't like a lads in Magaluf thing. This was like I was a small human.
Yeah, but where did that go? I feel like I never really lost that set, being proud of being naked, and I feel like that's something that we all need to really get back again. Is let's be proud of our nudity. Let's be proud of our naked bodies. I'm proud of my naked body. So that's a beautiful memory. Such a strange thing to say. I don't really mean that.
You go, man.
I'm proud of your naked body, even weirder.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some lovely memories. I've got a lovely memory of like us again. We went on a bike ride with Dad, and we had a picnic. That's one of my favorites that I go back to. I've cherished that memory forever. It's like a place in my mind. What else is there? Gosh, there's probably lots, but the most recent thing that I've seen has been 2 times nudity, both by rivers. Also for those what Sam used to just like climb up things. Like I was not a climber in my youth. I actually, quite similarly to Sam, was a big fan of nudity in my youth, but not so much the climbing. And we used to go on holiday, like we still do now, actually, as a family, down on the southwest coast of England. But Sam was like really young, and we'd all be sat on the beach, and all of a sudden, like someone would turn around and be like, "Where's Sam?" And then we'd look up the side of a cliff, and Sam like dangling, like 200 foot off the side of a cliff. And Mum would like freak out and like scream across the beach and like go running over to him. Be like, "What are you doing?" And you'd be like, "I'm just climbing." What? And yeah, so that's another fun memory that I got of Sam, climbing. It's a nice one. I know someone's written lovely shades of pink. I know. I feel like I've been embarrassed since the moment we started this live stream today. But what? I love it. I love it. Oh, here you go. This is a good one. This is just a nice music one.
Album recommendations for 2020.
Can I start? Because I feel like you might steal one of mine.
We're definitely going to steal them. I know exactly what we're talking about, but you go for it.
The new Enter Shikari album. If you haven't heard it, you've just got to go and get it. Like I'm sorry. Most people on here probably have Spotify or Apple Music. Just listen to it. It's amazing. It's really, really good. So that's my recommendation.
I've also seen George Perks in the chat.
What's he saying?
Dear friend of Jamie's and I's. He was just saying hello earlier. It was a while ago, but George played a part in that album as well, and also we've worked with George. So just big up George Perks if you ever need anything mixed.
Yeah, George Perks mixed.
George Perks. Georgie P.
You got it. You got any recommendations? Hi, Georgie.
I'm still listening to the new Strokes album with fascination every time I hear it. It's so good, man. It's like, I don't know, they've done it so well, and it was written. I always find the Rick Rubin productions quite interesting, just because there's not always this common thread, but he's managed to like find the thing that made the Strokes, and refine it so well that it doesn't sound like a Rick Rubin record. It sounds like the most Strokes record that there could have ever have been. And I'm really happy and grateful that that's out, and I can listen to it over and over again and pick out new parts and pick out new bits that I'm like, that is so cool, and so like makes me feel so much.
It's a great record. I mean, and the Rick Rubin way of producing is probably what I would describe as, close to being the perfect way of producing, which is sonically, yes, obviously takes care and he takes time, but first and foremost, by the sounds of it and from what I've learned and from where, the man takes the time to get to know the band. Yeah. And like, it's about who you are as people first and foremost, and then from there it's about making the record after that. Yeah. And finding your true self within the process of making that record. And when the Strokes first came out, there was that, like, they were very much like defined as individual people. We could all see them, whether or not they could see themselves. And then they kind of went on a bit of a journey, and then Rick Rubin was like, come back over here, and sort of seems like he's managed to kind of just wrangle them all back into the space where individually they all feel incredibly comfortable within themselves and are able to do incredible music. Yeah,
exactly. So that I wasn't even expecting it. I didn't know it was coming out at all. I mean, obviously there was like 1 or 2 singles beforehand. I think there were 2. So yeah, that's been the big one, as in like that's the thing I keep on returning to. And always have fun listening to at the moment.
Yeah, it's banger. It's a banger. It's a banger. Oh, hey Sam, you want to get there's a deep one.
What is it?
I'm going for a deep one.
Both of you deal with your heartbreak. Oh, do you want to start? Oh, I've lost you. Hello? Oh, I've lost you.
Am I back?
I don't know. Give me a hello.
Here. Am I live? I feel like I'm live again.
I don't know, there's lag, but we'll just go for it. You start.
How did I deal with my first real heartbreak? Badly is the answer. I dealt with it badly. It was incredibly painful. There are no two ways about it. It was incredibly painful, and it took a long time to heal from. It took a long time to heal from. There is so much wrapped up in that experience for me, you know, because it's not just, you're not just dealing with like, or at least I wasn't just dealing with the very act of what had happened. You know, that's the healthy way to do it, is to deal with the act of what's happened. You go, okay, that's happened, cool. You know, I get it, that's you, I'm off. But what happens is like, and if you're like as emotional as I am, or as like, you know, I don't know, if you're anything like me, then, you know, it affects like things like resentment comes into it, and pain, and your own perception of love. And then if you let that resentment build, then it just gets into this place where it just goes like completely nuts, and you end up going over and over and over and over in it, you know, around your head. And then the resentment builds into a place where you're like, oh, I don't feel worthy, and then you're fucked, you know. And I had to go all of that. Like, I literally had to go through every single process of that. I did not accept the situation for what it was immediately. I could not accept the situation for what it was immediately, because it was the first time that I'd ever felt something like that, you know. I've since learned that, like, later on in life, like, that like deep sense of like love and connection, like, you know, it exists everywhere. It exists everywhere. It's in everything. But I dealt with it badly. But I was very, very fortunate enough to have a really, really good group of friends around me who helped me through it. Here I am today. I live to tell the tale.
I live to tell the tale. Amazing. Mine, incredibly melodramatically, I seem to recall, I think there was a lot of storming off. There was a lot of playing a lot of loud music out of my window. A lot of, you know, drawing, a lot of like just wilding out and you know, acting out on my heartbreak through like what I thought was incredibly emotional at the time, and, you know, writing letters that would never get sent, things like that.
That sounds incredibly healthy. Those are like things that one learns in therapy. Like, that's a very healthy way of dealing with it.
It was like, what's that scene? Is it in Footloose where he goes off into the woods and like dances?
Yeah, probably.
I think it's Footloose. It like
Sweeney Todd, I don't know any of them.
It was like akin to that scene, but like extended over probably like a couple of months of that scene, you know, made it into my life. And then it took a while though, like as you said, you know, it was like there are so many different stages of it, especially for the first time you're experiencing it, and it's never really the same. But yeah, it was, I mean, yeah, my one true love has always been drum and bass, and that'll always remain. But no, I'm joking. Yeah, it's like every time it's going to be completely different, and it's awful, and it takes so long, and there are so many phases behind it. But then you'll see each other like 5 years down the line, and you can laugh about it, and you can, you know, hopefully, if you, that was my experience anyway, and I was really grateful for that. And it wasn't time. I never saw it as time wasted or anything like that. So yeah, kind of healthy. Yeah.
I don't think I ever would look back on any like part of my life and think, oh, that's time wasted. Like, there's always a lesson to be learned in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's very healthy.
And that really helps in those processes. I think when you can realize that, I think that's really healthy to deal with heartbreak, I think.
Yeah, totally. And I think also just like being able to like understand that it's somebody else's choice. Like, it's like, and also like, that one's own self-worth does not rely on the acceptance of another individual. Like,
yeah,
you know, they want to move on for the sake of themselves, and that's fine. That's what you want to do. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. It's been amazing. Yeah. That's what I'd say if you and I are breaking up. It's not me, Sam. It's you.
It's not me. You're breaking up with me.
What about this one? Here we go.
You putting up another one?
Putting up another one.
Any advice to write a song? Just go for it. I don't know. Like, I'd always, I don't want to sit there and be like, do this, do this, do this. Like, don't just sit down and play whatever you want to play and wail your heart out, and you'll get better at it. Like, it's terrible, terrible advice, but it's like, you know,
it ain't gonna
allow
be perfect.
yourself.
It ain't gonna be perfect first time round.
No, and that's not what it's about. It's, you know, it's just allow yourself to be vulnerable. Don't be too critical of yourself. At that stage, and enjoy it, even if it's, you know, tough, or even if it's, you know, I mean, that would be my advice. It's not. I'm not.
It takes time. It takes time. It takes time. It's a practice. It's a lesson. You know, it's a lesson to like try and access a part of yourself that you're sort of told on a daily basis, you know, not to access, you know. So like, just like access it. It's not going to be perfect the first time around, but keep going and keep building, and you'll be amazed. Like, the thing is that you'll be amazed when you start to write the good stuff, how much of the old stuff is in the good stuff. And it's like a progression, but you have to start somewhere in order to finish somewhere else. It sounds really simple. It sounds really simple. I know, but it is a practice, and it's not always going to be perfect the first time around. So just go for it. Just do it, like Sam said. Yeah, 100%.
Like a trust in the process kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know when it's good. Like, you know when it's good. Okay. Couple more. Are you enjoying this? Having a good day? Nice time? Oh my gosh.
Where are we going? Where are you going with this?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just scrolling now.
That's all right.
Oh, I like this. This is living in the past. I shouldn't do that, actually. That's bad. One of the craziest. Drunk girl in the Birmingham toilets. Hello, drunk.
Where did that go? Here we go.
Okay.
Have you found something?
Have you thought about creating a podcast? Have you thought about creating a podcast, Sam?
Didn't we talk about this at some point?
No, I'm just scrolling. I'm just scrolling.
I thought we discussed.
Counterfeit Melly has written so much.
Oh my God! What songs am I ashamed to like?
I don't know.
I'm not really ashamed to like any songs, but there are probably songs that other people are ashamed that I like close to me.
Not ashamed to like anything. I like everything unashamedly.
Unashamedly. Ariana Grande's Sweetener is an amazing album.
No.
Just gonna say that.
Me neither.
From start to finish, genius. Katy Perry.
I like Miley Cyrus, Born in the USA.
Oh, big tune.
The Party in the USA. Sorry, that's Bruce Springsteen.
Oh God, so many. Bit of Bass Hunter in there. Probably used to listen to that. Don't listen to that anymore though. What else is that? I mean, there's so much.
All Katy Perry. Waking Up in Vegas. Yeah, Never Really Over.
Never really. Jamie and I were in a cab the first time we heard Never Really Over.
Love it. Can't get enough of it. I like cheese. I like the cheese.
Yeah.
I love all
Meatloaf.
musicals. I love Wicked. Bass Hunter.
Bit of Bass Hunter, yeah. Are you looking for more questions? I'm not sure if I'm really.
I'm not ashamed to like anything. Like everything and anything, but yes, the cheesier the better for me.
What else is there? How many bands have I been in?
It's Meatloaf. Do you like vodka? I used to like vodka very much.
Probably too much.
Now,
definitely.
Now I like water.
I'm really far behind you, okay? You've chosen, how many bands have you been in? Oh, wait.
Okay. Last question. Last question. Here we go. Sam, how many bands have you been in? I've been in 3 bands. I've been in 3 bands that have. Oh no, the internet is telling us that it's over. It's bye time. Okay, it's taking its time. Remember, this weekend, thank you so much for joining us, by the way, first of all. Really, really fun. Sorry, it was total cancer. Remember, next weekend, thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, all of you. I really, really appreciate it. It's been really, really beautiful. Sam's been in 4 bands, just to let everyone know. The connection's gotten really bad, so we're going to say goodbye. But thank you. Take care. Be beautiful. Spread love. Be gorgeous. All my love and all Sam's love as well, I'm sure. Peace.